Hello, everyone. I am Matt Lucas. As always, today we will be talking to Natalie Killface Morgan, who is a professional Muay Thai fighter. She trains originally out of the Yard in LA, has a very long and storied career at WBC Canada. Done a very, very good job making money with her pro fighting career. She has budgeted herself well, and there she is, punctual as always. How are you doing, Natalie?
Hey, good. How are you, Matt?
I'm good. So let's get right into it. Where do you think you are in your career, and where do you want to go?
So I think right now is, I just fought for a line fight. I had a really good win over Candice Mitchell, who's had some really good wins over good people in Thailand. Yeah. So I feel like where I'm at right now is I'm kind of starting to gain the traction that I feel that I deserve. I've been training and fighting for over 10 years now, so it takes a long time to get where you want to be. I'm nowhere near where I want to be. I still feel like I have like a good 2 or 3 more years left. I definitely would like to defend my WBC belt at some point, maybe fight for the world WBC, get my name on the rankings somewhere.
Mm-hmm. And then, so that's obviously some of your fight career goals and accomplishments, but where do you think you are in terms of like sort of your professional side and some of the budgeting and money stuff?
So for that, I feel like it's been a long learning process for me. So it's becoming to the point where I'm actually able to treat it like a job. So, like the cost breakdowns that I do, budgeting out, starting to get more sponsorships overall. So I feel like I'm just kind of touching the surface with being professionally where I need to be. I still feel like I can go a little bit further with that in terms of business. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that you're one of the cases in American Muay Thai of someone that's been successful with it.
Thank you.
Do you feel the same, and how do you think you've been successful if you feel that way?
Thank you. For me, I mean, I'm my own worst critic, so I never feel like I'm satisfied or successful. So I feel like the things that have really propelled me into success, though, as a fighter, and even in terms of like professionalism, business part of my fight career, would be fighting people that I probably shouldn't have been fighting at the time. When I fought Janet Todd, we were both amateurs, but she was like 6-0 or 7-0, and I only had a couple fights with losses, and everyone didn't expect me to win that fight. And then Muay Thai Angels, when I turned pro in the States, I had trouble finding girls here. So I was just like, you know what? I'm going to apply. Why not? What have I got to lose? So I think that really gave me international recognition that I was looking for too. So I got to fight really, really good women in the international scene, whereas I hadn't really gotten to do that here in the States. And fighting people that are, very skilled makes you a better fighter. So, and it, also fighting overseas gave me that international spotlight a little bit that I never had before. So, it helped me grow.
Yeah. I mean, you had that fantastic spinning elbow knockout over in your first contest. And then who did you go on to fight in the next bouts?
So I fought Maria Lobo from Portugal in round 2.
Yeah, she's good.
Yeah, that was a really good fight. I feel like that was my favorite fight of all of them, even over the knockout, because it was just like 3 rounds, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. There was a lot of action. And then in the 3rd round, we fought twice in one night. The first fight, I fought Yolanda Schmidt from Australia, who's originally from South Africa, I believe. And then my second fight that night, I fought Namtarn.
Yeah, both of them are like, in terms of competition levels, you're not really going to get much higher than Yolanda and Namtarn at the time. So, you definitely took a lot of risks, which I think have paid off long term.
Thank you. Me too. I think taking risks is super important, and that's something I've always done in my life in general. So I've always found that you got to do things that make you uncomfortable, that scare you in order to excel and grow.
One of the things that we did about a couple months ago is you did a very nice budget breakdown for one of your fights. Is that something that you do normally? And if so, like, how do you go about doing that normally?
So actually, that was the first one that I did. I probably should have been doing it much more before that, but I had a lot of sponsors that fight, so I wanted to make sure that everything was being tracked. So I did a budget breakdown of. So basically, it's very simple. Just take the things that you're spending money for the fight. So however long your fight camp is, I think that one for me was 8 weeks, which was a little longer than I like normally, but I hadn't fought in so long. I really wanted extra time, so I took. Okay, what am I paying for? Am I paying for training? Okay, I need to put that down. How much am I paying per month for training? Even like massages, sometimes, yeah, massages I get a lot when I'm in fight camp.
Yeah, it's an important part of the recovery process. It's not just training, you also have to recover, make sure you're in the right place. Like, there's a lot of factors going on.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I go see the chiropractor probably once a month when I'm in fight camp. My hips go out of place, things start getting weird. So there's that, and then sometimes I'll go to a spa and like sit in the sauna and do the hot sauna and then the ice bath or whatever to help recovery. Supplements, things like that. Like anything that is for your performance is even like I could technically use my groceries, but I'm not going to get crazy with that. Eat healthy for training, and sometimes it gets expensive. But I think those were like the main things that I spent money on that fight camp. And then actually I had to take a trip because we fought at elevation. So I wanted to make sure that my cardio was on point. So we drove up to Big Bear and did my last sparring session, my last hard training session up there. So that was something else that I spent money on. So I wanted to be able to show my sponsors like, okay, you're giving me this much money. This is what it's for. And then, we also had the deal, like, this is what I give you back, right? So I think it was social media posts and things like that, just to promote their businesses.
Yeah, do you feel like your sponsors were happy with your performance? Not only in the ring, obviously you did well in the ring, but, your overall presence and your performance as a professional sort of athlete.
Yeah, definitely. I think all of them were super happy with the posts that I prepared for them and sent out and promoted them with. They all seemed very, very happy about it, and actually it helped me gain a sponsor, like a real sponsor, like not just for the fight. So I feel like everybody was very pleased with what I did.
That's good. I mean, it's important to be professional all the time. It's not just like the fight itself, it's things outside, which I think you're a great example of.
Thank you.
How do you think, obviously you gained that sponsor in this camp, but how have you gained sponsors otherwise, and how have you made money to support your fight career?
So most of the time I make most of my money just from like private lessons, teaching Muay Thai or classes and stuff like that. I prefer private lessons. That's really fun for me. Sometimes I miss the classes, but I like one-on-one a lot. I feel like people get a lot more one-on-one, so I enjoy it more. That's how I make my money when I'm not fighting. And even when I'm fighting, I still continue to work while I'm in fight camp. Let's see. I think that's how I make most of my money.
And what about gaining sponsorships? How have you gone about doing that? Because you had the sponsors going into this camp, you're in the camp and you gained a sponsor. Like, that's pretty big, where a lot of American fighters, especially now, are, they don't even have one sponsor.
Right. So honestly, just reach out. That's it. Like I said, take chances. You never know. Someone might be like, yeah, this is cool. Like, it's very different. Some of my sponsors, like they were different. Like I like to support local when I get sponsors too. So that's another thing you can do. Like, especially if you're involved in your community in the area, go around to like your coffee shops or, I don't know. Like, I think one of mine was an insurance company for like home insurance, car insurance. They're like, yeah, sure. That's cool. Like, we don't have a lot of followers. So yeah, why not? So I think that's just, put yourself out there, ask. You never know. Someone might just be like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Obviously, again, you take the risk and you've gotten the rewards. One of the things that's been happening lately with you is I've noticed you've been more active on social media and some of your content is changing. Can you talk about that? What is that like? How do you sort want to appear on social media, and how is that part of your sort of professional sort of identity as a fighter?
Okay, so I think it's super important to be who you are in real life on social media. Authenticity is super important to me. If you know me, I am professional. I do cuss a lot, and I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to be me. I'm unapologetically me on social media. Personally, I try and keep politics and things like that out of it. I just try and stick with Muay Thai. Like, that's my thing. Or like certain things that are very important to me. Like I'm interested in like environmental, like zero plastic, things like that. So I try and keep it to things that are like very important to me. So authenticity, I think, is super important. And one thing that I know about myself is I suck at social media. So that's, I don't really, I'm not creative. So I'm not a creative type. If you tell me what to do, I can do it. It's just, I can't come up with it myself. So some people are really great at it. It's like, it's almost like a second job. It's really important to be on it all the time. Right. And I'm busy outside of this world. So I don't really have time. So I know that. And I figured it was about time I hire somebody to do it. And we collaborate. So I finally hired someone. So that's why you see the uptick in content for me. But I love it that she's very aware of like the things that I want. And we collaborate. So like she'll ask me something, for a caption, and I just send her voice notes. So it's actually my voice that she's getting, right? She just picks and chooses.
Oh, that's good.
It's perfect. Yeah. So that was the one thing I was always worried about with having someone do it for me, is because I do think that authenticity is very important.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Yeah, but I don't think I've lost any of that with her. So I think I made the right decision. So. And I've noticed a big uptick in like following and shares and stuff like that. So, and people seem to be really responsive to liking what I'm putting out there. So,
yeah, I was about to ask what has been the feedback so far, and what do you think is going to be some of the long-term, gains or drawbacks of this?
I think long-term gains is, I essentially want to have like a very large following. That in this world, I hate to say it, it helps you get bigger fights and things like that. You have more of a social media presence, and then also more money. So you have more followers, people are more apt to give you sponsorship. So I think that it's more positive than negative, honestly. I think, it is a little costly, but for me, I think it's worth it. So that might be, I guess, like the one negative kind of side is people end up spending money, but like I said, low risk, low reward. So you have to put a little bit out there, to make.
Yeah, it's an investment in your career.
Exactly.
That's the way I would look at it. And obviously, it's been paying off short term, and I assume it's going to pay off long term. So maybe one last question: what do you think you've learned in your storied career from marketing and putting yourself out there? Just besides. We definitely hammered this away, but you have to take risks. But besides that, what are some maybe practical things, or maybe another point that you've learned?
Another point that I've learned, I think for me personally, I just learned that I'm not good at it, and it does take time and effort, like a job would. So if you don't have time for that to do it yourself, like take it like seriously, like it's a job, to gain followers and things like that. If you don't have time, then I do think that you need to have someone help you, someone that's good at it, which is something that I probably should have done a long time ago.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's nothing wrong with admitting, hey, I'm weak in this area. I need help. And this other person is much better at it than me, so okay, you have to hand things off sometimes. Or,
yes. So I guess I would say that it's okay to ask for help when you need it. Or it's okay to say, I'm not good at this one thing. I'm good at fighting. That's great, but I'm not good at social media marketing. So, yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
We still like you anyways. And just wrapping things up, is there anything you wanted to talk about that we didn't talk about? And also, where can people find you in the future?
Okay. You can find me at Lady Killface anywhere, or ladykillface.com. My website will take you anywhere you need to go on my social medias. I don't really have anything else to add. I got some big news coming out soon, but I can't announce quite yet. So if you
Good.
keep an eye out on my social media channels, you'll see it soon.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Natalie. I really appreciate you taking your time out, and I'm looking forward to more success stories from you.
Thanks for having me, Matt. Appreciate it.
All right, see ya.
Please like, comment,